Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. If you know me, you know I say a lot, the more you know, the more it grows. So today we're going to kind of get back to kind of what I traditionally love doing, kind of just being a hair knowledge geek. So about a year ago, there was like all this hype, and some people are still doing it, using monostat on their hair as a moisturizer because they say just that it makes their hair grow. And of course, when you hear that, you think, why the heck would I put a yeast infection treatment on my head? And I would suggest you not do that. But if the person who, kind of whoever came up with this idea or whatever, explained their thought process behind it, it actually makes sense. But because it's not an approved treatment, you don't know what other issues may be a result of using monostat on your head. It's not been studied and therefore approved for that use. I wouldn't do it. There are other ways to kind of get the same effect and treat the same problem. And the problem is fungus. So monostat is typically used by women for women issues, as men like to call them, or to treat candida, which is yeast infection. Yeast infection is basically a fungal infection. So if I were to stand here and tell you, you know what, oh my gosh guys, there's this great thing called Lamisil or athlete's foot cream. You should run out and get it and start putting it on your hair. You would look at me like I was crazy, but fact is it's no different than the monostat approach. The reason you're using it, the reason you will likely see some results is if your hair has fungus, then it treats fungus. So therefore that's the reason you'd be using it. I've never heard anybody really mention that. And that's my problem in the natural hair community. That's why a lot of my videos are kind of geek focused or whatnot. That's why I love KamayaTube or Kim Love, because I think a lot of her videos, similar to me, it may seem like you're sitting in a class, but you really got to know what you're doing. The more you learn, the less money you have to spend. You don't have to go in the store and say, oh, well, this smells good, I'll get it. When if you had just turned around the bottle, you'd see that it's full of a bunch of crappy ingredients. So, fungus. Fungus can be a problem for natural hair, and I particularly found that this is something that I want to be cautious of for several reasons. One, and please, if you use it, Denman, I would love to be part of the proceeds. Denman brushes are rubber, and they're used mostly by people who have curly hair. They should make these products antifungal and whatnot because our hair is wet so often. And just like yeast, mold, etc., the reason that they grow, the perfect environment for them to grow in is an area that's dark and moist. When I wet my hair during the day and then I do my famous pull-up, because I'm tucking my hair under, when I come home at the end of the day, as soon as I take this down, it's usually still wet in here. And that's a problem. Because basically I just have a dark, moist area sitting in my hair, and I don't want that. So I would really love if that Denman, and this is a little cheapy knockoff Denman because I actually broke, my hair's so thick my Denman broke the other day, so I need to get another one. So this is a knockoff, but Denman brushes are great for curly hair, and if they did that, I think that would be wonderful. The other thing, so I'm using my Quench moisturizer, which, if you know, most natural oils and whatnot naturally have properties of antimicrobial properties. So they keep fungus, bacteria, and any kind of microorganism. They really reduce or prevent them from growing, limit them from growing as much as possible. But again, particularly since I've been doing this 5 o'clock boot camp thing, my hair's just, I sweat like a dog, and then I wet my hair, even if it's just a rinse, every single day. And so I've really got to be cautious of making sure that not only I make sure that my hair gets to a point of dryness more often, but also the other thing is how often are you cleaning your hair products? And cleaning not just as in sitting it under the sink and throwing some water in it, but really putting it in the sink with some bleach, depending on the brush or comb you're using, because for a boar brush you probably don't want to use bleach, or maybe you want to use rubbing alcohol, whatever the case may be. But I like to get an old toothbrush or a new toothbrush kind of thing, or an old one that just cleaned up real good, zapped in the microwave, and clean your hair, clamps, brushes, combs, these things that we use them over and over and over, and then you throw them. When I opened my Denman, when my Denman brush opened up or broke, and I opened it up, like all this black stuff was coming out, and I was thinking it was the color of the Denman. It wasn't. It was where there was like bacteria or crud just kind of growing, and I'm pretty good at cleaning my stuff. But apparently I need to do it more often, particularly since I'm sure the workout thing. So I just wanted to share that with you. So before you, with me or anybody else, before you run out doing what people tell you, figure out does it pass the smell test. So okay, monostat on my hair. That sounds dumb, but when you really break down the science, it makes sense, because monostat, actually, ringworm of the scalp is actually the same thing as athlete's foot, from what I found online. So I'll give you that caveat. But they're all fungal infections. So yeast infections, athlete's foot, and that funky smell people get in their hair when their hair is not washed often enough, or it's wet, and not washed, and then they sweat in it, and it just kind of has this kind of mildewy smell. You all know what I'm talking about. That person. There's always that person. That's what it is. So just do the research. Don't just buy into things, So when somebody says put monostat on your scalp, it sounds stupid. I'm not suggesting you do it still, because it's not been studied for that. And anything that goes on your scalp penetrates your scalp, and my brain to me is one of my most valuable assets. So I really worry about putting just anything on my scalp. But just because it sounds like, oh, somebody else is doing it and they seem to have great results, why? You may not have the same results. Your hair may fall out completely tomorrow, and then what? But if the person had come on and explained the science behind why this is a good approach, maybe I could understand. But again, if I came on here and said, hey, go out and get some athlete's foot cream and put it on your scalp, you would think I'd lost my mind. So again, just be cautious. Everybody who has a camera and 5 minutes is not going to give you information that's really valid or usable. So make sure that you're following people, listening to people, listening to advice that's really solid, and then actually fact check it yourself, just like MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, whoever, just like they all have fact checkers. Do the same thing. Whatever I say, feel free, go check it out online and see, does it make sense. So anyway, I say all that, and I have washed my hair, so at this point, I am now going to add my Quench to it. But what I'm going to do is just that once I braid it, I'm going to now, instead of pinning it up, I'm going to braid it and then just let it kind of hang down in a couple of braids at nighttime. But I'm going to really be conscious of making sure that my hair dries fully several times a week. So hopefully this video has been helpful, guys. If you haven't, please do. Quench is on a mega sale just until the end of this month. So definitely check it out. The ingredients, everything you need to know is on my blog site, Journey, the number 2, my roots at blogspot.com. And I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Later.
Journey to my roots. Yeah. Journey to my roots. Yeah. Journey to my roots. Yeah. Journey to my roots, man. You need your head done, holla at 'em. Your head done, yeah, cause you a new girl. The head done, yeah. I'ma show you the steps right down the hair dry, yeah. Gotta quench the thirst, and anything less will have you looking worse. Got time for a trip, let's take a journey to my roots. And whatever you try, know it's easy to apply. You want that, need that, long strands still healthy. Men agree, natural to find sexy. To get there, who said you gotta be wealthy? Your head can look diamonds for the price of rhinestones. Your brain rocking other itch to help a mind go. Natural turn up around like a cyclone. You can do the weave wig or braid it. The whole naps, you know it's time to update it. Journey to my roots, have them on their head like Beyonce. Let me upgrade ya. Finally looking like somebody pays ya. Instead of damn, I guess they going through some major hard times. Make you claim your loved one day. Mine join the ranks of the fine, leave that other behind.